As he looks in his rearview mirror, he confirms what he just saw, and after reviewing the footage on his dash cam, he's shocked to see that it wasn't all in his head.
Going northbound, just past the 349 exit, and this bridge comes up, okay? I go under the bridge and thought I seen like a white figure as I went past. And I'm like, that's weird. I looked in my passenger mirror and I watched what looked like a woman in all white scrubs go from my passenger mirror. I looked over in my driver mirror and they were at the end of my trailer.
Go meet up with him and see if she can get him to confess. And it's a tough decision, I'm sure, but Amy ultimately agreed.
The ghostly apparition of a woman can be seen manifesting just as he approaches the bridge. I did my best to locate where exactly this was with the hints that Ken gave in his first video, but unfortunately, I came up empty-handed. If what Ken is saying is true, it begs the question, could this be the apparition of a woman who lost her life in the area? I suppose we'll never know. I had to watch the following video a couple of times before I could see what was actually happening. But once I saw it, let's just say it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, hell nah. As the camera falls, the figure of a man can be seen, standing in the corner. He appears to have no eyes. Despite my efforts, I couldn't find the original poster of this clip. If you know where it came from, please let me know. The following video comes from Reddit user Mr. Freddy 2121. It was posted about a year ago, and it appears to show a hospital worker or receptionist acting a little odd, almost as if he sees somebody that we can't. Of course, this could be a clever hoax. It doesn't take much to act as if you're seeing somebody for the security cameras. But once again, I'll leave it up to you to decide. The following video is questionable. I say that because it was uploaded by a user whose account is mainly documenting their, quote, haunted home. I'll let the video play out. You decide.
Somebody just took my hair. I'm not joking, somebody just took my hair.
What do you mean something fucking took
I
your hair?
don't know.
Something fucking took my hair.
I'm coming out! I'm coming out!
Something appears to tug at both girls' hair. Commenters pointed out that even if this is a hoax, the girls do seem genuinely afraid. The following video comes from Julio Manuel, who was a security guard at BCP Bank, Bolivia, at the time of this recording. The bank employees were having an after-hours discussion before leaving home for the day, when something really strange happens.
Entro por al fondo. Al fondo. Entro con nuevo incendio, ¿no? Oye, en la cámara acaba de pasar ahorita una niña corriendo. ¿Ah, sí? Oye, la niña que llora. Oye, te juro que en la cámara acaba de pasar ahorita corriendo una niña. Oye, ha corrido hacia acá. Oye, te juro que ha pasado ahorita una niña corriendo. Ahorita mira, te voy a hacer el video.
The silhouette of a little girl can be seen, briefly running in the background.
Oye, en la cámara acaba de pasar ahorita corriendo una niña. Te juro que ha pasado ahorita una niña corriendo. Ahorita mira, te voy a hacer el video.
In the following video, the uploader claims that he and his mom were away for vacation for a few days. And when they arrived home, their cats tried darting out the front door. In addition to this, they noticed their cat's behavior just seemed a little bit off. Upon entering their bedroom, they noticed their security camera was tilted toward the wall, so they reviewed the footage, and this is what they captured. A mysterious shadow can be seen crossing the entryway to their room. Just before this happens, the cat on their bed seems alert, as if it was tuned in to something or someone in the home. Shortly after the shadow passes, a second cat enters the room, when the TV tray can be seen moving on its own. This is followed by the door closing by itself, and the camera subsequently panning toward the wall where they found it when they arrived home. Upon playing back this footage, it's evident that the camera does indeed move on its own, as it can be seen doing so in the mirror. Many users commented that animals can indeed see things that we cannot. And one user pointed out that perhaps the most horrifying part of this video is that there may indeed have been an intruder in their home. The following video is a pretty short clip. It was sent into the YouTube channel Equilibrium Collective, and it appears to show the security camera feed of what seems to be either a hospital room or possibly an old folks' home. There's no information behind this clip other than what's seen, but it appears to be a wispy figure gliding across the camera's view. The following footage, although short, is quite compelling. It was uploaded by user LTibs on Reddit 4 years ago. And in her post, she describes that her father-in-law works for a company that employs truck drivers, and his job is to review the footage captured by these trucks' dash cams. Anytime a driver hits the brakes or swerves, these cameras record automatically, and it's up to him to decide if disciplinary action should be taken in the event of an accident. She was stunned when her father-in-law showed her the following footage of 2 truck drivers driving down a 2-lane road in the middle of the night. A female female in a white dress can be seen walking across the road as the drivers react sharply to her presence. According to the uploader, what this video doesn't show is that the two drivers pulled over immediately afterward, convinced that they had hit this woman. But after finding no evidence of any collision or anyone in the area, they decide to move on and report the incident. She goes on to say in her post that she can't share the full video due to legal reasons. And she also says that some research was done on the area. And it turns out in 2013, a young girl was walking across this very stretch of road when she was struck by two vehicles. User LTibs believes that this may very well be the ghost of this girl. A TikToker was sound asleep in her apartment when something scary happens. Horrified by the sound, she decides not to answer the door, even though many people commented the woman outside was asking for help. 2 nights later, the same thing happens. Many commenters pointed out that this could be a trap, so she decides to play it safe again. But once more, exactly 2 more nights after the second occurrence, it happens again, and this time, she opens the door. Last video, a few nights would pass until her next upload, but nothing was said about what happened, leaving her viewers to wonder if this was possibly a mentally ill neighbor harassing her in the middle of the night, or if it was all a ruse to begin with. To see more of what people are saying, you can visit her page linked below, and be sure to tell her that GhostToast sent you. Our final video today comes to us from a woman named Sabrina, who upon visiting the Aston Hall Museum in Birmingham, England, would find herself in a situation she won't soon forget. Before we begin, a little bit of backstory is required. Aston Hall is a 17th century mansion that is said to be the UK's most haunted historical site. Built in the early 1600s, the mansion was owned by Sir Thomas Holte, a wealthy English landowner who was feared by many, including his own family. Many spirits are said to reside in this mansion, including that of one of the houseboys who allegedly was caught stealing and locked in a room to await his punishment. In fear of what Thomas Holte would do to him, he took his own life by hanging. Many visitors have also reported seeing the lady in green, who was also said to be a young housekeeper who died in the home. Amongst the various spirits who are said to reside in this mansion, there is one who's the most famous. The Lady in Grey is said to be Mary Holte, daughter of Sir Thomas Holte, who after having an affair with one of the servants, was locked up in a room at the top of the stairs. Legend has it that she died of a broken heart, and they say if you visit this mansion, you may be a first-hand witness to Mary herself. Her room at the top of the stairs is off limits to visitors and employees of the mansion, now turned museum. Sabrina tells me that her son is autistic, and due to his special needs, they've actually called ahead to the Aston Hall Museum on this day, at which point the employees reassured her that the environment in the building would not be overstimulating and they would do their best to accommodate his needs, which is why the following events are so genuinely shocking.
Mary? You mean you no harm? We know you're in there. We've seen you. Where are you, Mary? Mary?
Did you see it?
Mary? Mary? Are you still in there, Mary? You can come out now. My name's Thomas. Hello.
A shadow figure can be seen walking from left to right, just a few feet away from the door. It appears a second time, only this time in the opposite direction. And you can almost make out the silhouette of a woman.
Now my son has special needs, he's autistic, so we always make sure before we go anywhere there's no props or anything that could really affect him. So we'd run through it all with the manager of the place, and he was like, no, absolutely, everything's fine. So we was exploring around, looked at a little bit of history about Aston Hall, and then we ended up walking up the stairs. And because
Sabrina goes on to say that she heard her son screaming at the top of the stairs, claiming he saw a shadowy being lurking in the room. So they begin recording specifically to reassure their son that there's nobody up there, at which point they saw something they could not believe.
my son started screaming, and he literally froze on the stairs. And then my husband was like, oh my God, did you see that? And I was like, no. So I thought my son and my husband was pulling a prank on me. They've gone running down the stairs, so I've gone running down the stairs after them. When I've looked at my son, he's crying his eyes out. So I says, what's happened? And he says, he saw a shadow. I was a bit sceptical, if I'm honest, because I'm thinking, well, there's no prop. Is it true, or is it my son? Like, has he just imagined it? So security had said there is nothing up there. I can assure you now, there's no props, nothing to scare you. I asked the security if my son and my daughter could stay with them and I go back up to have a look so I could reassure my son. As we went up, my husband started calling out for Mary.
Was it Mary?
And as we're there, my husband's, being a bit daft, I says to him, calling her out, saying that he won't harm her. And the next thing you know, a shadow went past the door and then it came back out, and it was like it came out to us. So I completely froze. I couldn't even move. My husband's ran down the stairs, but at this point, it was like something had held me on the stairs. I just couldn't move. The story behind it is there was a rich family that lived there. Thomas Holte was Mary's father. Mary had fell in love with one of the servants, and it was forbidden in the family because he was quite high up, the family were, and they locked her in that room where there's all scratch marks in the room, what she had created, there's blood everywhere, so that room you're not allowed to enter whatsoever.
While editing this video, it occurred to me that Thomas Holte, who was the owner of this house and Mary's father, had the same name as Sabrina's husband, who can be heard just before the second appearance of this figure, saying the words, "My name is Thomas."
My name's Thomas. Hello.
Could it be that the lingering spirit of Mary Holte heard these words and in direct response manifested before Sabrina and her husband's very eyes? I'll leave that for you to decide. Could it be that her son was actually in tune to whatever spirit resided at the top of these stairs? Or is it possible that the employees were playing some sort of cruel prank? I'll leave that for you to decide. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to lock your doors at night. You never know what's on the other side.